Hello, today I will talk a little bit about what it is or what it means to be a writer. And at least for me, it always, like if you look at the biography of a writer, or him or her for herself or himself, one finds that there have been many, many steps before even one realizing that they are going to write books or that they are going to be a writer in one way or another. If I look at my own biography, it's not to say all positive. I have had actually difficulties to learn to write or to read, as a child. Not because my inability to do so, but so to say, the first years of my life were very much in nature, and I didn't have tools or necessary to write or draw, So the first time I went to school and I had difficulties to hold a pen. I didn't really understand so easily, to form the letters. But I do remember I took quite long time, to practice with the help of my older sister, who has patiently guided me and helped me to write. At the same time we're talking, I was a child who didn't need or feel the talking part. For me, it was a little bit like the persons that were close to me, especially my grandmother. I didn't feel the need, or I didn't see the need to talk. I almost felt like she can understand me. And I did have difficulties to pronounce some letters or some words. So I was a child of few words. But interestingly, my inner world was very rich. And I will occupy myself playing in nature or playing by myself very quietly. Almost like I didn't want to disturb the others, So in this time, I think the inner world, or the the imaginative world, it is more important than the spoken world. Everyone focuses on child education, on making them talk, answer, pronounce very fast, but I don't think one should interfere in a combative way, to teach a child. It's like the best approach is always to leave the child develop in her or his natural way, which I was fortunate to have. After in school, of course, the part of writing or talking was always combined with some type of fear, some type of exams, or to write good, or learn the lessons and repeat, or for the teacher to see that you have learned, or that you have memorized the content that he or she, as the teacher, gave. Later on, I found the love, or I wanted to learn languages. I studied at university linguistics and Roman languages. My mother tongue is Romanian, and early on in my childhood I learned English. I went to a school where they focus very much on English. But English is not my mother tongue. I do write my books in English. I love English very much. Later on, I moved to Vienna and I learned German, or had to learn German. In the beginning, I really wanted to learn. I had a friend of mine who was speaking German, and I found it very interesting, and inside me, raised the need or desire to learn as well German. And of course, living in Vienna, I almost needed to learn, and I studied then my second study in education. I made a 3-year master's, which was all in German. Due to my Romanian language, I do understand Italian, French, and Spanish very well. I did study Spanish at university, and I was quite fluent in it. I do understand everything in Spanish, Italian as well, and French too. Sometimes I try to read in Portuguese, which I do understand a part, but of course each language is different and needs a certain type of care and time now to learn it properly. Later on in my life, I started to write books some few years ago, and my first book was called Heartsong, poems. So it's a book all in poem form, and I started to write in automatic writing. So I will have like a typing machine, a typewriter, and I will just take paper and just write whatever came to me. Automatic writing means, you don't filter through the conscious mind too much. You just write as it comes, and you let it flow as it is, and then later, of course, you go again on the text and you correct it, or you try to, see if there's some mistakes. But in general, it's quite the form it comes out. That's the form one keeps. And after my first book, Heartsong, I wanted to create from the poems. I had the idea to write a second book, which I did. It's called Emerald Moon, and I wanted to transform the poems which were on love from Heartsong into love letters, and then write a love letter, and then a story, a short story, then a love letter, another short story, and that's the book Emerald Moon. It's a very, very beautiful book. I thought that there are not so many books on love letters, and Emerald Moon is very magical type of book. Of course, it's very much connected to Heartsong. It's like they are like sisters, no? After I wrote my third book, it's called In the Light of Love. I wanted to write another poem book, but this was even more philosophical. I took different subjects. My poems are longer than in Heartsong. Of course, they are different, but it's a very beautiful book as well. In the Light of Love, poems for the heart. So it's very much the subject of love, but a philosophical type of love as well, or different subjects, that I wanted to add to this book. After I wrote Silver Moon, I wrote Emerald Moon, and then I wanted to write a second one called Silver Moon, and this is very, very poetic. It's all love letters. It's just love letters, and the love letters are like from lovers across memory, time, and space. So it goes from ancient type of love to, so it really travels through time and space now, because I wanted to show that love transcends time, transcends memory, transcends space, or everything that is in between. That's the most romantic description of love that I can offer. It's a very beautiful book as well, and I thought, well, maybe people would like to offer their loved one this type of book, because it speaks about love. At the same time, one can learn about love, or one can get inspiration if you need to write love letters, or it's just something very soothing and very beautiful for the heart. After writing these books, I wanted to expand as a writer, and I chose to write prosa novels, and little I did know that the novels will be like my second love, and that I will write later on very many different type of novels. My first novel is called The Shadow Keepers. It's a beautiful story of a girl that she lives in a village by the sea, and she discovers a book there close to the sea, and that book, when she opens it, it has only blank pages, but when she touches each page, a story begins to appear, and then she is encouraged by this book to go on a travel, which she does, and it's about her inner journey or her experience through the world. The Shadow Keepers, it speaks about the strength or the power to confront different trials that may appear, and the the sovereign part of one's soul, the courage that it carries, and the poetic feeling, no, of one's journey as well. Later on, after this novel, I wanted to write my first novel, which has more characters, no? I said, well, I will expand. I will write a novel which has more characters, and I chose to write a Russian type of novel, or inspired by Russia. It's called Winter's Heartbeat. It is about love, but it is set in St. Petersburg in Russia, a little bit in the past, so in the beginning of 19th century. And the book follows the story of six people, 6 aristocrats, which live, so to say, the high life of St. Petersburg. They're all young and beautiful, so 3 women and 3 men, and it shows their life and the comic aspect of it too. It shows the complicated parts of love, to say that one loves another but the other loves somebody else, and that somebody else loves this person but not in a different way, no? So it's a little like mixed up between them. It is interesting novel as well. A Winter's Heartbeat is called, and after Winter Heartbeat I wrote other type of novels, and very soon after I wrote my first grimoire, which is called King Paimon, the Lord of the Endless Silence, the Lord of the Abyss, and this was the first grimoire. Grimoire is a special genre. It is a more dark gothic genre, and it's almost like a magical book or a spell book, or it speaks about characters or from ancient past that carry some type of esoteric knowledge or hidden knowledge. That's the aspect of the grimoire. And it was a very complete work, a work that I invested a lot of my time, love and attention. It took a little bit longer to write. It's a larger book, but it's definitely my masterpiece. And after I wrote the first grimoire, I wanted, of course, to write more grimoires, which I did. I wrote the grimoire on Buer, on Gusion, on Leraje, on Lilith, and on Sitri, and they are all I have written all in hymn form. It is a lyrical form which is much more poetic and fits perfectly to the grimoire. It's not a prosa, it's not a novel, it's a grimoire, no? So it has different type of quality to it. I absolutely adore grimoires. It's my favorite genre. And I did write other novels as well. I wanted to write like more psychological novels, and I wrote The Woman in the Mirror, or I wrote The Lady in Jade. I wrote fantasy novels as well as Princess Morgana and Arbato, the Queen Dragon, the Snow Dragon Queen, which goes a little bit in the mystical, in the fictional, very poetic, lyrical type of novels as well. And so it's almost like if one asks what is to be a writer, it's almost like an answer that has no end, no? Because the writer always develops himself or tries to catch a new subject or catch the next train. And but the process of writing is very intimate. It's very beautiful. I think it's highly intellectual, but intellectual in an artistic way, you know. It is not the rigid intellectual, it is the poetic intellectual. It's the one that can flow with the water and notice all the little differences, no, in the colors, in the scene, the scenery, the feelings, the characters. So there is an entire world that opens to them. As a writer, there are many elements that have to fit together in a book, but the way I do it, I really let it free as the river flows. There's always a poetic feelings that I try to write and feel the book. And the focus, of course, is always on the characters, on the stories, and the element of novelty is important to me as well. I cannot write the same thing, so I always choose a new challenge or a new subject. And I think to be a good writer or to write good books, I think the subject has to interest you as much as possible. It has to open you up to new reality or new possibilities. You do want, if you write, you do want to write something new, something interesting, and something different as well, no? Different, meaning different from the other books that one writes, or different to the other writers. I wrote other things too as well, which I love, which is like a sci-fi or futuristic type of books. One is very interesting, it's called Black Cube. It was a subject that interests me at the time. I was studying about the Black Cube, which is connected to Paimon book as well, because Paimon, King Paimon, when I wrote the book, I had a vision with the Black Cube, and at first I didn't know what it means. And a few months later, I was like, wow, what is this Black Cube? It's like the idea didn't leave my mind, no? And I said, well, I will write about the Black Cube, and I write it in a timeline which is far, far, far future. It's the story of that the Black Cube appears, and there is a travel through the cosmos, through different planets, and I try to describe that world or those type of worlds or dimensions, no? So there's always, for a writer, there's a travel, there is a journey of discovery as well. And I don't write my book necessarily thinking, well, how you say, like, what's the next best thing, or what's, I don't, my compass is my inner compass, no? I don't let myself persuaded by trends. I try to write what's interesting to me, what are my subjects, or what are the fields where I have some type of knowledge or some type of interest. I do believe very much that there is a lot of inspiration that comes from the outside, no? It can be a dream, a conversation I had with somebody. I do get very easily inspired by people, especially by people I love and admire. Sometimes they tell me stories, and then I just feel it inside my heart, like it pulsates. It's like a child that is happy, and then or it's something I find interesting, and like my eyes widen, no? And it's like, wow, that's so interesting. And it doesn't necessarily happen at that moment. I say, well, I want to write a book about this, but later on it does come to that, no? Almost the same time doesn't exist. Sometimes things happen, and I get ideas or inspiration. Once it happened when I wrote a book called The Traveler, which is a very interesting book. I got the idea when I was, it was Halloween night, and I was going to a party, and I was waiting at the metro station for a friend, and while I was waiting for her, I started to write the book on my phone, the idea. And then later on I developed it in a book, no? So sometimes the inspiration comes at quite interesting points in time, but it's important to take it, no? Don't brush it away, and believe in your dream, believe in your story, believe in your inspiration, no? Because we do have, especially as a writer, you open yourself to different worlds, different substance that exists, no? Almost to say, you open yourself to the void, and there's a lot of things that almost feel like there's a lot of books that want to be written. There are a lot of subjects that that cannot wait, no? To almost to say, maybe these books are already written, and they don't exist in our reality, and we as a writer, we bring them in, we create them in this form that it's physical, no? So if you want to write, or in general for writers, I don't think the inspiration is the difficult part. I think inspiration can come and does come pretty easily without you doing absolutely nothing. But it does depend on the writer, the element of curiosity, love, dedication, support, that you give yourself. As I've said, as a writer, no one sits there to applaud you or push you or say yes, yes, yes. You have to do that for yourself, no? And the process of writing, it is very detailed type of work. I work with letters, I work with words, I work with very tiny little parts that create our language. And it's not so easy, to have an idea and then to transport it in a written form. But I don't give up. I don't think of that element. I put everything, the idea, I start to work, the text, I put it all together, and then I do the work. I go over and over and over to make sure there are no mistakes, and I clean out the text. I sometimes have to delete parts or have to add, or I say, well, the beginning needs more of this. So it's almost like when you cook and you prepare ingredients, and then there is a natural way, to follow the steps and say, well, it does need a little bit more salt, or it doesn't need this, that, to make it in the way that you want or you feel it has to be. It's pretty much the work on a book as well, no? The interesting part, which I like too, I studied art and I'm an artist as well. I paint, I draw. I like very much to create a cover of the book that inspires me, motivates me. The title of the book I love, the cover. I create the covers for all of my books. Some covers have my own paintings which I created. Some I create in a digital form, no? So that part I truly love as well. And I love to have my books in paper. I'm very proud. I'm very happy to have them, and I see them in paper. It's almost to say I had an idea that was somewhere in the thin air, somewhere in the blue sky, somewhere far away from the sun, no? And then I'm able to, through my work, through my dedication, through my love, through my attention, to bring this in for others as well. I think every book carries a lot of knowledge. It carries something beautiful. It carries something new. It carries something adventurous. Books are really very special. And I did have a dream once. I was in a place out of this world, almost like a huge canyon. I was walking by myself, and I see on the left side a huge library of books. I could not see the end of it. I could only see the beginning. There's like so many books now that wait to be written, wait to be read. And I think I encourage people to read. I think it is beautiful, no? But as I've said, myself, I'm a picky reader. I can go in a library or a bookshop. I can look at 100 books and still don't buy nothing. Almost to say I love my books, but it's quite difficult for me to find a book that I really want to read. I don't like to read horror books. I'm not a fan of horror whatsoever, to be honest. I like beautiful books. I like books that inspire and bring something positive, something unique, whatever it is, even if it's something scientific. I can write books. I wrote books on scientific subjects as well. It's almost my wish, of course, is for the empowerment, for the betterhood or better future for all human beings, no? There is a need to say, if there is something that makes our world more beautiful, is love, is fantasy, imagination, dedication, power, strength. Some of my books definitely carry the message of strength, of acceptance, of love, of mystery, of history as well. Some of my books take subjects which are lost in the ancient past, far away, almost like archaeologists go into the sand, open something that no one opened, and I'm able to see the value and beauty in that. I love ancient languages, I love ancient history so much, and I love things about the future. I love to learn about the cosmos. I love astrology, I love science, I love poetry as well. I love many books. I remember when I studied at universities, I was studying Spanish culture and Spanish literature, and there were very beautiful books. One of my favorites is Don Quixote. I read it in Spanish and I found it absolutely hilarious, and there are a few books that definitely impressed me so much and really made my day or my week or my month. And I do think books are powerful, are beautiful, they do deserve the work. And other books of mine which I really love, to be honest, Paimon, King Paimon is my favorite book from all. It's my masterpiece, just because I love King Paimon and the subject so much, and the experiences I had when I wrote this book were very spiritual, very enigmatic, very sacred to me. Another book or grimoire that I love is called Lilith. I love Sitri, the voice in the darkness. I love the book of Buer, and some of these books actually, to be honest, for example, Buer or King Paimon or Sitri appeared, or the idea came with a vision that I had, and that vision carried me, like on a boat on the river towards the other edge, where I was able to finish the book. But it is a travel for me as well as the writer, the travel, it starts from the first page and then ends with the last page, and some don't end, it does continue, so they live inside me as well. So there is a travel that I go through writing that book, which I find a very beautiful aspect. If you ever think to write, I definitely encourage. I think every person is able to write, of course, and the advice I will have is to write firsthand, to believe in your vision, to believe in your craft, and you always get better. There's always, to say, element of courage that one needs to say, this book was wonderful and now I'm going to write something new. Sometimes you have to wait for the idea to reach. Sometimes I start a book and I don't find it so interesting, and it's almost like, why I'm writing this book? Why? Sometimes it happens, and not always I'm necessarily convinced that I'm going to publish it. So in some books I'm very much secure and safe, and I cannot wait to publish it. I cannot wait to put it out there. I find it unbelievable. But as I said, it is a travel. Each book is a travel on its own. At the moment, I'm writing a book about Hecate. I want to write her story. I want to write her biography. I want to help the reader to immerse and discover more about Hecate. And I'm writing another book called The Labyrinth, and another one is called Irka. They are totally 3 different genres, and I'm working at the moment on all 3 different books. So sometimes the work goes simultaneously. I'm a person who can get easily bored, and I like to work fast. I like to bring the project fast to the fruition now. And I do push myself towards that end. I do say, just 100 mile more and I'm there. Just 100 pages more and I'm there. Each book needs a certain amount of pages that the story is a full circle now. And what else? If I was to think, what is a writer, or what makes one a writer, or what makes one a good writer? I think that a good writer has a certain type of values, of morals, and they want to create something beautiful for the betterment or for the good purpose for other human beings. And a good writer includes elements from our world, from nature, or includes the inner struggles or the inner, it's almost like the activities, no, or what makes a human a human. So it does go in different type of water. It's not always clean, serene water. No, sometimes one has to be brave, no, to enter in some new environments or create new stories that maybe others haven't, or others didn't have the courage to. It is a courageous act, I think, to write. It is a futuristic act to write. It is for the future as well as for the present. And it is a beautiful act because it's able to almost relive or revive something from very long time, something that was maybe buried in the sand and no one hoped or ever believed it will come to light, no? It's almost like if you think of a seed that's able to grow through the earth, through that blackness, through the difficult terrain, no? To go towards the light and become a flower and be able to let others enjoy that color and that sense and that beauty. That's pretty much the work of a writer as well. So we do push through that earth, we do push through that, that strength that is needed, upright, uplifting, and be able to open that seed in something beautiful that other people can enjoy, that can be of help, that can be of beauty, that can be of some type of talent, or even inspire others to write or read, which I think the intellectual qualities make a human in a beautiful way. In the same time, including respect and love for nature and for the path, that we all have taken, and a deeper understanding of the human spirit, of the human heart, of the human mind. These are all just a few elements that makes a writer a good writer. The talent, I think, is a part of a writer as well. I do think it's a gift from God as well. I think special souls are made to be able to be a writer. You do need some type of empathy, some type of openness, a deeper feeling or a deeper ability to live life or see things that others are not able to see or feel. And through that work, or through your books or through your words, you kindle that spark inside of others as well, to feel, see, taste, imagine, explore, and so on and so forth. So it is an act of love. If I was to describe the act of writing, I will describe it very simply as an act of love, an act of dedication, an act of time, act of believing in a bright future, in believing in something expansive, something expandatory, something that has, the power to grow, the power to develop in a beautiful way. If you're interested to read any of my books, I publish always my books on Amazon. That's the part. I don't have a special website. It's enough if someone is interested. There are the books on Amazon. I do invite, of course, my readers, if they ever want to buy a book or spend the money for a book, to buy one of mine and see if the book resonates, if the story resonates. And I do the recordings on YouTube on this page. So I speak a little bit about each of my books, so the reader does have some type of help in choosing which book, or if the book is of interest or not. As I say, each person has different taste, different need, a different search, or a different find. There's a choice, which is a beautiful thing to have. You can choose. That's why I write different type of books. That's why I open myself as a writer, to create something new, a new genre, a new story, a new book. So one can find the right book or the right interest. So you can find them on Amazon. You can just type there my name, ANAԻS GIULIA, or the name of the book, and it can be shipped to your country wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for listening. All the best to you. Bye.